The FIM Junior GP World Championship returns for round 4 of the 2025 season with the action heading to the iconic MotorLand Aragón. The next generation of racing talent is ready to make its mark in Spain at a circuit renowned for delivering thrilling battles over the years. Located near the town of Alcañiz, MotorLand Aragón is a crown jewel of Spanish motorsport designed by Herman Tilke. The 5-kilometre, 17-turn track made its Grand Prix debut in 2010 and has since hosted countless memorable moments. Now it's time for the Junior GP class to take centre stage. Álvaro Carpe claimed a victory here in 2024, but who will emerge on top this year? It is time to go racing. Last time out then, just the one race in the Junior GP category in Magny-Cours, and riders were greeted by the rain. Championship leader Brian Uriarte launched from pole position and led the early running, but the conditions played havoc beneath the riders, and having done everything in his power to stay upright, the number 51 did eventually hit the deck. He wasn't the only rider to go down, with Hakim Danish also crashing. At the front, Leonardo Zanni and Joel Esteban vied for the lead, while Casey O'Gorman led the battle for P3 before the Irish rider dragged himself into contention and into the lead at one point, though Esteban responded almost immediately. At the front, riders continue to battle through the difficult conditions as there proved a little respite, with Zanni one of the riders to go down just before the red flag came out to end the race, with Esteban victorious and O'Gorman and Samara on the podium. A first win of the campaign for Esteban saw him rise to third in the standings, sandwiched between Salmela and O'Gorman, while Uriarte's lead shrunk to 13 points. Good morning and welcome along to the 4th round of the Junior GP World Championship, where we raced in honour of Pau Alsina. The young Spaniard unfortunately passed away after a crash on a track day last weekend. A rising star in the Spanish motorsport scene, Alsina sat 13th in the Junior GP Championship standings in his rookie season, with a P8 in Jerez his highlight result. Beyond his achievements on track, Alsina was a loved figure and admired for his commitment and love for the sport, which we all hold dear to our hearts. May he ride and rest in peace. A minute's silence was impeccably observed yesterday in memory of the Team Estrella Galicia 00 rider Pau Alsina. Focusing on the day ahead, riders will race in honour amid difficult circumstances, but with the aim of doing themselves and their late peer proud. I'm Chris Jordan, bringing you live coverage of the 4th round of the Junior GP World Championship, and joining me in the commentary booth is Conor Doherty. Conor, obviously very difficult circumstances for these riders given what's happened to one of their colleagues, but they will race in his honour today.
Yeah, they will. It was a tremendously moving moment on the grid yesterday when we saw that minute's silence observed. There were tears in pit lane as well, and it's understandable why. A tragic event, and we go on, as you say, racing in Pau's honour here at MotorLand Aragón.
Absolutely. Riders will be looking to do themselves and their late peer proud, as we said, none more so than the Estrella Galicia 00 riders, of course, Rico Salmela and Casey O'Gorman, both of whom start towards the top of the grid, with Rico Salmela in 3rd place and Casey in 5th. But it is Brian Uriarte who starts on pole position. Brian, a 3-time race winner already in 2025, is the championship leader here coming into this one, though, as we saw last time out in Magny-Cours, he suffered a crash, managed to rejoin and pick up some crucial points, a top 10 finish, but his lead at the top of the championship standings has shrunk and offered opportunity for the likes of Rico Salmela, Casey O'Gorman and Joel Esteban, who have all moved up the standings.
Yeah, just 13 points in it now, and it's becoming very competitive at the top. Uriarte, of course, has been a standout figure, but as you mentioned there, the opportunity is there for the riders who are now closer than ever behind the likes of Jesus Rios, Rico Salmela, who are looking sensational. The only thing that they can really hope for is that Uriarte's reign at the top of the standings is coming to an end, and with 13 points in it, it's really anyone's game.
Yeah, Uriarte really is another sensation from the Spanish scene of motorcycle racing. He's a rising star. He starts on pole position again, a hat-trick of pole positions for Uriarte in 2025. Let's hear what he has to say.
The session was very difficult because it was very hot, and yeah, I did the fastest lap on the first lap. I take a big slipstream and I did a good lap, but also going alone I was doing same pace, so 56 highs was very good pace for being alone, and yeah, I think we have some things to improve. There's a little bit of margin, but tomorrow will be a tough race. Of course I want to take the 50 points, but I think it won't be easy. There's many riders in front and they are going very fast, but I think we have a good chance here to take all the points to home.
A 156.886 was enough then for Uriarte to seal a third pole position in a row, and well, he's going to be the rider to catch. It nearly goes without saying. 3 wins already this year. The first rider to win the opening 3 races of a Junior GP Championship campaign since Danny Holgado back in 2021, I believe, off the top of my head. I'm open to correction on that. I think it was 2021, and Danny Holgado has gone on to do some wonderful things on the World Championship stage. Uriarte himself will be looking to emulate that, if not exceed it, but he is the rider to beat. As you can see, 3 wins, 3 podiums, 3 poles. The only letdown, let's say, from his almost perfect record, the only blemish on that perfect record was in Magny-Cours when he crashed out of the lead, but did remount to pick up some crucial championship points. Connor.
Yeah, I'm happy to trust your statistical knowledge. I think the other riders on this grid will be hoping that this is an inflection point that they can take advantage of it. Of course, he was on pole here last year as well in one of the few races he did participate in. However, he did not finish on the podium in that race, I don't think.
Yeah, surprising, because he did burst onto the scene when he joined the Junior GP class. Of course, he was in the European Talent Cup prior to that and was very impressive. Came into the Junior GP class and made an instant impact along with Guido Pini. Of course, Pini now racing in the Moto3 World Championship. Another rider who has a habit of making instant impacts. It's Jesus Rios, a rookie in 2024, came on and did the double back in Misano in the season opener. He has 3 race wins, does Rios, in the Junior GP category, but the last of them is over a year ago now. So Rios will be hoping to look to build that consistency once again that has promised a lot of potential from a precocious talent.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the top finish still in the class from 2024. And there we have Rico Salmela as well. He showed how fast he is time and time again. He's doing sensationally well, and obviously one of Pau Alsina's teammates, so he'll definitely be racing in his honor as well.
Yeah, Rico sat on pole position in the season opener in Estoril and has been a regular challenger to Uriarte in 2025. Just hasn't had the chance to get the better of him yet. Leonardo Zani, then the FIM Network XTI Mirror Racing Team rider. You see there 0 pole, 0 podiums, but it doesn't quite tell the story of Zani's season. He's been P4 in every race, in the opening 3 races, before crashing out in Magny-Cours, led in Magny-Cours as well. He's been desperately, desperately unlucky to not get that podium. He has been very much in the victory fight and podium fight in almost every race this season. And back in Jerez, race 1, I think it was, against Rico Salmela, where he lost the podium on the line. It was a photo finish, and the narrowest of margins handed the final podium place to Rico Salmela. Casey O'Gorman on the podium in Magny-Cours amid the tough conditions, the young Irish rider. First podium of the campaign was a P2, so his best result in Junior GP, and he'll be still targeting that maiden win, will Casey.
Yeah, we also saw him coming oh so close to a podium in the opening round of the season in Estoril. Very unfortunate, just a little tick that saw him crash out on the last lap, in the last corner in fact, in a sensationally dramatic race. And here we are looking at Marco Morelli, another incredibly talented rider. He's going to be starting from P6, and that's going to be a real opportunity for him, who's shown how good he is time and time again. The runner-up, of course, in the ETC, the European Talent Cup in 2024, doing battle with the likes of Carlos Cano, a real star as well.
Plenty of interest for our Southeast Asia fans on row 3 with the Malaysian rider and Indonesian riders of Hakim Danish and Veda Pratama lining up on row 3. This is Hakim Danish, the number 13, a podium finisher already in 2025 and the leader of the Red Bull Rookies Championship. So, or the Red Bull Rookies Cup, I should say, where he has one win in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. And guess where that came, Connor? In Aragon. So expect some promising things from the number 13. Veda Pratama, Asia Talent Cup champion in 2023. The Indonesian rider is another huge talent on that HRC Astra Honda side, and again doing quite well in the Red Bull Rookies Cup is Veda Pratama, but we haven't seen the best of him in Junior GP as of yet. Perhaps today we will see the best.
Yeah, they'll be looking to take advantage of these conditions and the fact that the grid has been shaken up by 4 penalties, and the likes of David Gonzalez now in P28. And that means that both Veda Pratama and Zemmatani move up a spot. Here we have then the starting grid in MotorLand Aragón. On pole, Brian Uriarte. He's joined on the front row by Jesus Rios and Rico Salmela. On row 2, it's Zani, O'Gorman and Morelli. On row 3, Danish, Pratama and Fernandez. Behind them on row 4, we've got Mitani, Esteban and Belford. On row 5, Pugliese, Monsi and Farkas. And on row 6, Ramastorfer, Michielon and Abruzzo. Further back on row 7 is Poggio, Nicolis and Bertola. On row 8, Agostinelli, Fomera and Uchiumi. On row 9, Brown, Serpa and Shonrock. On row 10, Gonzalez, Bayon, Singapong and Mononyane. All punished with back of the grid penalties.
Yeah, the stewards were busy yesterday across all 4 classes, 4 riders today in the Junior GP, handed with back of the grid penalties for riding in a slow sector. So away we go on the warm-up lap then. A little first look at the MotorLand Aragón circuit, where off the start line we flick it left and then right immediately, and then a couple of right-handers await the riders before we go uphill through turns 3 and 4, back onto the left through 4, tighter turns at 5 to bring an end to the opening sector here in MotorLand. Perfect conditions for racing and a beautiful backdrop as well. Here is the Aragon countryside in Teruel. So Brian Uriarte is your pole sitter coming into this one, Connor. Do you think anyone not put it up to them? We see the riders put it up to Brian Uriarte every race this year so far. But do we think today is the day we see somebody better him?
I think it could very much be the case for Uriarte. As much as he is on pole, and as he was on pole last year as well in Junior GP, he hasn't necessarily got his best results here. And when we're talking about P5 in the context of last season, the fact that that would be construed as disappointing really illustrates the talent that Brian Uriarte has. And I think here, of anywhere on our Junior GP calendar, he could be gotten the better of. And with the likes of Rico Salmela, seeing that that gap in the championship has dropped to just 13 points, well, he's got to take full advantage of that. And we're going to have riders licking their lips at the opportunity. Esteban, of course, is growing and growing. He's going stronger and stronger as this season goes on. A bit of a slow start as he returned to this championship, but he's getting better and better, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do here.
Yeah, Joel Esteban, a huge talent. He did win last time out, but Uriarte crashed out. So it would be great to see a battle towards the checkered flag that sees the main contenders. Esteban, though, as you mentioned, is a strange one. He's starting P11 on the grid, a rider of huge talent. He came from deep in Magny-Cours on the grid as well to take the victory in the wet conditions. His qualifying just hasn't been the best, has it, for Joel, but his race performances have promised much. So, almost time to go then. 51, Brian Uriarte starts on pole position. He's got Jesus Rios and Rico Salmela for company on the front row. All three race winners in the class. Leonardo Zani starts from 4th. He's looking to make that all-important breakthrough on the podium, perhaps even go a little bit better and take a victory here. Casey O'Gorman and Marco Morelli also searching for their maiden victories in Junior GP. So it is go time, eyes on the lights, and the revs are rising here at MotorLand Aragón, and we are racing in the first race of the day here in the Junior GP World Championship, and Brian Uriarte has gotten the start he wanted, as has Jesus Rios and Rico Salmela. It's 1, 2, 3, and Rios is about to fire it up the inside of Uriarte, and now the young Spaniard leads the championship leader. Rios over Uriarte with Salmela in 3rd.
Yeah, that was an absolutely sensational start from Jesus Rios. You could see him just pulling off the line incredibly quickly there, and it's Uriarte who's now back in the lead. So something's clearly happened there, but this is looking already like it's going to be a classic, and that the riders are looking to take the battle to Uriarte, which is exactly, as neutrals, what we wanted.
Yeah, Jesus Rios running it wide, I think, there around turn 3. Not sure what happened exactly, but it handed the lead back to Uriarte. Salmela into 2nd, and a great start for Hakim Danish, who's up to 3rd position from the 3rd row.
Yeah, absolutely sensational from Danish, who is a rider who's been showing us exactly what he's capable of across various classes, across various championships, and he's displaying exactly why he's one of the names that's touted for a future in the Moto3 World Championship very soon.
Yeah, downhill then through the reverse corkscrew we've already come. Now kink left on 11 before the heartbreaking turn 12. Uriarte over Salmela and Danish. This is going to be a crucial final section, you would imagine, as the race progresses. The long run, they get to open up the throttle here before, a little bit heartbreaking at turn 14, flick it left at 15, and then the long run towards turn 16 with the long looping left-hander ahead of the finish line. So slipstream will certainly play a role here, and with such a long back straight leading on to the front straight, you would imagine there'd be plenty of chopping and changing here. But Uriarte over Salmela and Danish. Casey O'Gorman has slotted into 4th position, and Veda Pratama riding in 5th position. Jesus Rios hasn't quite recovered from that early mistake. The number 54 still riding in 6th position. We mentioned Joel Esteban before. He started in P11. He's up to P7 by the close of the opening lap.
Yeah, and further back, David Gonzalez started from P28 after that penalty, now up to 19th. So that's a fantastic ride a bit further back. We'll see what he's capable of as this race goes on. He's still 12 laps to try and get into the points.
Bit of a gap opening up then between the top two, as we have seen in races gone by. It's Uriarte against Salmela out the front, just a couple bike lengths back to Hakim Danish, but not a whole lot of change then in the order. Joel Esteban has gotten ahead of Veda Pratama. Jesus Rios is starting to cut through the pack as well. Pratama lost a couple of places around the first sector there. Now, will we see Salmela make a move here at any opportunity? He might get a chance coming out on the run of turn 10. But it is Uriarte who's looking calm and composed out front, as he has for much of the 2025 campaign. Salmela really is going to need to come up with some absolute magic to get the better of Uriarte, the number 51.
Absolutely, but for the time being, if he can match the pace of Uriarte, then that's enough. He's still got plenty of time to find and bide his time and make his move when he feels that the opportunity is there. There's no point in rushing it. There's no point in making a mistake. He's got to maintain the pressure on Uriarte for the time being. He's got to keep on his back wheel and then make the move when the time is right.
Absolutely. Now you see Uriarte is beginning to open up a little bit of a gap here. He's got about 5-6 bike lengths, you'd say, back to Rico Salmela, and this is the run towards the line, the long back straight with the sweeping left-hander. And Uriarte has got that to perfection, you would have to say. And it looks like he's got what? He's got half a second about over Salmela, and they're coming over the line to knock off another lap here in the Junior GP World Championship. Coming live from Aragon.
It was Jesus Rios there who had the fastest lap, a 1:57.298. That's faster than all the other riders around him at the front, so we'll see whether he's able to use that pace and really get back into this podium battle. There he is, confirmation of that fastest lap there, absolutely sensational. New best race lap, and it looks like that gap that Uriarte had started to build is coming down quite significantly.
Here we go then, Casey O'Gorman up the inside of Hakim Danish. Didn't quite have the space to make it work, the number 67 on the number 13, but you are right, Connor. You can see it with the naked eye, and the timing screens offer confirmation. A 0.137 seconds between Salmela and Uriarte, so Salmela has reeled in Uriarte over that opening sector and across the front straight. So Jesus Rios has gotten himself back into third position ahead of Hakim Danish. It looks like it's fairly settled between number 1 and 2, but plenty of chopping and changing in that provisional P3 spot. Jesus Rios has fought his way back up towards P3, looking to reel in the guys ahead of him. But Casey O'Gorman, Casey O'Gorman in front of the iconic Aragon wall takes P4 off the hands of Hakim Danish, and more problems coming the way of the Malaysian rider. Veda Pratama goes through, and now Joel Esteban goes through. Oh, a terrible couple of corners for Hakim Danish. He was riding in P3 just a couple sectors ago, and now he's down into 7th position. That is the standard that is on offer here in Junior GP. If you open the door, somebody will go through it, and in this case, 4 riders went through it.
Yeah, that was absolutely wonderful from Casey O'Gorman and Joel Esteban there, who really took advantage of that open door, as you so poetically mentioned. It was wonderful from Esteban, and it's Jesus Rios as well, whose pace early on has really dragged all of these riders back into what looks like it's going to be a fantastic battle for the podium, with Salmela managing to keep on the back of Brian Uriarte. That gap between Salmela and Rios now at just under 0.4 seconds. So this is going to get more and more exciting as the racing continues.
Yeah, Jesus Rios reels off another fastest lap of 1:57.2 this time around. So Rios has got some serious pace to burn here under the Spanish sun, and it is now a lead trio. Rios is closing that gap and closing it fast. He had just over 2/10 of a second on Uriarte last time round, and Uriarte has gone wide. He's gone very, very wide, and that opens the door for Rico Salmela, who gladly takes P1 off the hands of the championship leader. And now Uriarte will be looking to bounce back here, but he may have a couple more problems coming from behind him. Jesus Rios, the fastest rider on circuit, he must be anxious to make a move past Uriarte and add to the misery of this lap for the 51. And here he comes. The number 54 goes through on Uriarte. So, race on, Connor.
Absolutely race on. That's the pace that Rios has been showing throughout, and now both Rios and Salmela ahead of Brian Uriarte. We were saying before that Salmela had to bide his time and wait for the right opportunity to make his move. Well, it was put on a plate for him by Brian Uriarte, and now it's Salmela, the Finn, the Iceman, who leads. Will he be able to keep his cool as we continue racing here in MotorLand Aragón? Well, look at Uriarte there. He's already back through on the inside of Jesus Rios, who manages to cut back so sensationally. This is really chopping and changing. This is racing in Junior GP.
Yeah, all this chopping and changing has made a lead trio, a group of 9, I think it is, all the way back to Marco Morelli. So, or even to Veda Pratama. So a group of 8 now vying for the coveted podium positions. But it is Rico Salmela out front. And Salmela, we know, is a rider of extraordinary quality in the Junior GP class. A race winner in Estoril on a couple of occasions. The young Finn, really metronomic when he gets out front. And Uriarte's got more problems. Casey O'Gorman has fired his way past him through turn 5. Uriarte looking to respond, gets the outside line, but Casey O'Gorman forces himself on the inside, and now Joel Esteban. Oh, Uriarte. What is going on here? Joel Esteban fires it through. So Casey O'Gorman initially went through, and now Hakim Danish fancies a chance at this as Uriarte looks to fight back on Esteban. He manages to fight back on Esteban. Hakim Danish looking to make a move past either Uriarte or Esteban, doesn't make it stick. but you'd imagine a move is going to come from Joel Esteban once again. Back out front, Rios looks to close up on Rico Salmela as Casey O'Gorman attaches onto the rear tyre of the FIM Network XTI Racing Team rider.
Yeah, the two Estrella Galicia riders here at the front doing sensationally well. Salmela is just keeping his cool. He's ahead of the chaos behind, that chopping, that changing. And O'Gorman there just looked to put on a spurt of pace to be able to catch up with these leading two.
Yeah, brilliant racing here from the opening Junior GP event in Aragon, living up to the billing as we hoped it would. Rico Salmela and Casey O'Gorman of Estrella Galicia sitting in the podium positions. Is it a 1-2? Casey O'Gorman has moved through, and Brian Uriarte, though, he's going to have something to say about it. He goes from 4th to 2nd, but for how long? O'Gorman gets him on the cutback around turn 17. Brilliant stuff from the young Irish rider. Brilliant stuff from Uriarte as well, and brilliant stuff all around the field from the Junior GP category. Hugely entertaining race here. It's Salmela out front, but for how long will Casey O'Gorman stay in the podium positions? Not long at all. Brian Uriarte moves into 2nd with Jesus Rios now riding in 3rd position, but O'Gorman fights back ahead of Rios. So all chopping and changing here, and this is playing right into the hands of the flying Finn, Rico Salmela. His advantage out to half a second coming through the 2nd sector here of MotorLand Aragón. Uriarte, though, is the rider looking to chase him down. He's got Casey O'Gorman looking for a little move up the inside of turn 6. Nothing going this time. But Joel Esteban then sitting in 4th position ahead of Jesus Rios, with Veda Pertama, Leonardo Zani and Hakim Danish making up your top 8.
This battle between Uriarte and O'Gorman is absolutely incredible. With some of the overtakes that we're seeing, it's almost as if they're getting out a compass and a protractor to make their way past each other. Just look at the battle between these two. And there's Rios there just behind. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, 3 abreast there almost. Uriarte flying through the middle of Casey O'Gorman and Jesus Rios to push himself back into 2nd position. So as it stands, it's Rico Salmela holding an advantage of about 0.2 of a second over Brian Uriarte. Brian Uriarte has much less time of an advantage in his pocket over Casey O'Gorman. Casey O'Gorman almost like a mosquito on Brian Uriarte, just buzzing around him and waiting for an opportunity to strike. But that's your 1-2-3. Joel Esteban, the number 78, your race winner from Magny-Cours, just sitting in 4th position, and again probably just waiting for his time to strike, because there is a lot of chopping and changing and there is a long way to go in this race as we see Veda Pertama run it wide. So from 5th to 8th position goes Pertama as he runs it wide there around the final corner. Now Uriarte is running 2nd position. Will he be in 2nd position by the time they enter into turn 1? It looks like he will be. It looked like O'Gorman might get into the slipstream of the championship leader, but nothing going for him that time around. Here we see the battle further back, led by the number 37 rather, Marianos Nicholas of the AGR team in the battle for 12th. You mentioned it earlier as well, just David Gonzalez, the number 11, is now running in 11. He had a back of the grid penalty, so superb ride from David Gonzalez. He's just ahead of these riders here. Marianos Nicholas leading this battle, but not for long, as Leo Ramostorfer makes his way through. Oh, we've got a rider down, and it's one of the FIM Network riders. It's Jesus Rios with the yellow helmet.
He'll be so frustrated. He'd been putting in such an incredible performance.
And hopefully he is okay.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a painful one there as he just gets to his feet. Hopefully he's just winded as Jesus Rios goes down, and he was in real podium contention there. His pride will be hurt, hopefully more than anything else, as he goes down after participating in what had been a sensational battle at the front of this race. We can just take another look at it. That was a heavy hit, yeah.
No wonder he needed a moment to get back on his feet, because that is a heavy crash for Jesus Rios. As you said, hopefully he's just winded, which would be no surprise, having high-sided coming through turn 5. But disappointment for Rios. We mentioned earlier he needs to find a little bit of consistency, because we know he has the talent, a 3-time race winner, a podium finisher already in 2025, but his season has been inconsistent with DNFs or podiums. So it's just not been going his way in 2025. So thankfully he's up on his feet, Looks a little bit shaken, but seems okay. But back on track then. There has been a change for the lead, and it's Casey O'Gorman over Rico Salmela. The Team Estrella Galicia 0-0 boys leading here. But now, down the front straight we go. Is there going to be a change of the lead? The 67 over 27. Joel Esteban trying to hang it on the outside. Brian Uriarte's got the inside line in P3. But it's going to be Esteban who gets it coming out of turn 2. But no change in the lead. Casey O'Gorman. We saw him lead in Magny-Cours. We've seen him in the lead of Junior GP races before, but he has never gotten that win. He got a podium, P2 last time out, so maybe he's in the form of his life and fancies victory here in Aragon.
Yeah, absolutely. 5.5 laps for these two to do battle at the front. Absolutely sensational ride from O'Gorman, you have to say. He's been absolutely wonderful from right from the start so far. And he'll just look to try and hold off his teammate Rico Salmela for the time being. They are both opening up a gap with Uriarte. So if they can maintain that, which looks visibly like it's not going to be the case as they come down this reverse corkscrew, such a technical point of the track. So for the time being, O'Gorman and Salmela in the lead. But for how long, with Uriarte narrowing the gap between them?
Yeah, absolutely superb stuff here from the Estrella Galicia riders, and indeed all the riders inside this top 7. It's Joel Esteban remains in 4th position, not for long, because Leonardo Zani has just fired it up the inside of Esteban. Brilliant stuff from the 57. The 57, of course, Leonardo Zani, we have seen lead races. We've seen him in the podium positions quite regularly. We've seen him at the front of every race so far in 2025. But the Italian has yet to get that breakthrough win. His run of results is P4 in Estoril, P4 in Jerez Race 1, P4 in Jerez Race 2, before a DNF in Magny-Cours while he was running. Guess?
P4. Where is he right now?
P4. So Leonardo Zani, can he break the P4 streak? It's only time will tell, but he's got the small matter of Brian Uriarte and Joel Esteban on either side of him. So if Zani wants that podium, he's definitely going to have to earn it against some of the top riders in this category.
Yeah, he is. And just while we were talking about Zani, Salmela's overtaken O'Gorman and is now into the lead. The Iceman once again hitting the front. He's going to have to try and absorb all the pressure that's building behind him with this leading pack, and especially his teammate O'Gorman.
Absolutely, we have some yellow flags out as well in sector 4 at turn 15. It's Dodo Baggio who has gone down, so another DNF for the other Estrella Galicia 0-0 rider, Dodo, and a rookie in the class and a hugely talented rider in the ETC, a race winner in the European Talent Cup. Has graduated to the Junior GP category this year, but hasn't been the most seamless of transitions, unfortunately, for the Italian, and that is not going to help things. That's another big crash coming through turn 15.
Yeah, excellent response there from the marshal as well, just throwing himself over and onto the track just to help out and make sure everything is okay. Zani into P3.
Here we go, Leonardo Zani into P3, but Brian Uriarte, Hakim Danish, Joel Esteban, Veda Pratama all on his tail. Although he has opened up a little bit of a gap so far, you'd have to question how long that gap will last. But if there's chopping and changing like there is now behind him, it could open up even further as Hakim Danish goes through on Brian Uriarte. Well, Connor, before the race we asked, could anyone beat Brian Uriarte in a straight battle in Junior GP? It looks like we have an answer.
It does. And I think that we mentioned as well that this is one of the circuits where it felt like something was possible for all the other riders. It's not one of the circuits where Uriarte has excelled by his own very high standards, and the other riders are taking advantage of that. Rico Salmela, of course, who needs to be doing it more than anyone else as he pursues him so closely, just 13 points behind them, between them in the Junior GP World Championship standings.
Yeah, just watching the battle a little further back, Giulio Pugliese, the number 31, Beñat Fernandez, the number 7, battling for 11th position. Some big points up on offer here, but it's a large group, so not everyone on screen will be scoring points here today. Remember, of course, the top 15 are your point scorers. Anyone outside that, unfortunately, blanks on the championship standings.
David Gonzalez there, sorry just to interrupt, David Gonzalez now up into P8, starting from P28. So that's an absolutely incredible 20 positions that he's managed to climb through. And he's now just behind Veda Pratama, who's P7. So that's this leading group.
Yeah, absolutely superb ride from Gonzalez. We often laud him because we do call him Speedy Gonzalez ourselves because he's got incredible pace. When he gets going, he's incredibly fast. We've seen it in European Talent Cup, and that has translated in 2025 to the Junior GP category. And the AC Racing Team rider started towards the back of the grid. He's up into 8th position. He does have, I think, about 2 seconds to make
a significant gap
on Veda Pratama. So with 4 laps to go, it seems maybe a step too far, but a brilliant performance nonetheless from the young Spaniard.
Absolutely. He'll have been thinking going into this race, I know how talented I am. I know I can get through this field. I want to get into the points. And he's managed to do that. And possibly is as high as he's going to be able to finish given the circumstances of the race and the pace that this leading group is setting. We've seen Rico Salmela moving into the lead. And you can just see there in yellow, David Gonzalez. And the work he's done is absolutely incredible. Here we are watching the front of the race as well. Leonardo Zanni right behind the 2 Estrella Galicia 00 riders. He's just gone a bit wide there, but he's still managed to keep the pace there and on the straight. Can he get ahead and move into P2?
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Zanni, and you can see they have gapped Hakim Danish, Joel Esteban, Brian Uriarte and Veda Pratama, who are outside the podium position. So a lead trio led by Salmela. Salmela has done plenty of the front running in this race. The Iceman, as Connor calls him, the Flying Finn, is looking good for another win here in the Junior GP category. Or is he? Because Casey O'Gorman is desperate for that breakthrough victory and to stand on the top step of a Junior GP podium for the first time. Leonardo Zanni, he's very much in the victory conversation as well. He's yes to podium in 2025, but it looks he's looking good here. So will your winner come from these 3 riders? They have opened up a gap of nearly a second, I think, do my eyes deceive me. Quite a gap to Hakim Danish.
Yeah.
There's certainly a few bike lengths between them, but the pace of these 3 riders is outstanding with just, 2.5 laps remaining. So let's see how things will shake up. Coming around the final couple of sectors here, we enter through sector 3 in front of the iconic wall, and things will shake up. Rico Salmela, the Iceman, has broke. He has gone wide, and that hands the lead to Casey O'Gorman, and Leonardo Zanni is now running in 2nd position. Rico Salmela is running in 3rd, but he's back just in front of Hakim Danish. So will Salmela have the pace to catch up with the front 2? And if he does have the pace, will it bring the other riders up with him and make it a 4, 5, 6-way battle for the victory? It all remains to be seen. You can see Brian Uriarte is way off the pace. What has happened to the championship leader? But let's focus on Casey O'Gorman and Leonardo Zanni. Has Zanni got anything up his sleeve to challenge Casey O'Gorman out front? Can the Italian show a front wheel to the number 67 as we go over the start-finish line once again? Nothing coming in turn 1, it looks, but the rest of the riders have caught up, and now this 2-way fight looks like it might be a 5 or 6-way fight over the last lap and a half, Connor.
Yeah, Junior GP delivering drama from start to finish. It looked like Hakim Danish was really going to take advantage of that error from Rico Salmela there, but he hasn't managed to just keep the pace with the Finn, who is now catching up very quickly to Leonardo Zanni. This is, as you said, looking like it's going to turn into a 5-rider battle for the podium.
Yeah, Leonardo Zanni, it looked like he might have the opportunity to shoot up the inside of O'Gorman there, going through the right-hander at turn 6, but O'Gorman doing brilliantly so far to hold on to the lead and fend off any challenge. So through the reverse corkscrew we go. Downhill, very technical part of the track, but it seems to be navigated brilliantly by all the riders in that lead group. David Gonzalez is worth mentioning because we have mentioned him a few times. He's just 1 place behind Brian Uriarte, and he looks quite close to Uriarte too. So Zanni, has he got a chance for the lead here? He does indeed. He does indeed. Going into turn 12, he makes a move stick. Casey O'Gorman now relegated back to 2nd position with Rico Salmela in 3rd. Hakim Danish, Joel Esteban then making out the top 5. But Zanni leads. Is he going to break his podium duck in Junior GP, and will he break it with a victory?
He may well do, but just that there came from Gonzalez. As you mentioned, looking very, very close to Uriarte. He's now overtaken Brian Uriarte. Brian Uriarte has fallen 7 positions from his pole position, and conversely, David Gonzalez is up 21. But meanwhile, at the front, as the battle continues. It's Leonardo Zanni who's leading, and the two Estrella Galicia riders, Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela, oh so close behind as we go on to the start-finish straight.
Hakim Danish running it wide there. Has that cost him a podium opportunity as we go on to the last lap here? Race 1, Junior GP in Aragon. Leonardo Zanni leads. This is going to be a real test of the Italian's mettle. The number 57 has never been on a Junior GP podium. He could be about to win a race in Junior GP, but he's got Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela hot on his heels. Rico Salmela, a race winner in the class already. Casey O'Gorman, a podium finisher, but has never won. All three of them are desperate to win here, particularly the Estrella Galicia 00 riders. But it is Zanni who is building up an sizable advantage, you would have to say, through the first sector, entering into the second sector on this final lap, Connor.
Yeah, but anything can happen here. And the two Estrella Galicia riders have shown their pace throughout. They just need to be very quick through this sector 2 now. Very technical point here, going down the reverse corkscrew. And they've still got 2 more sectors to try and get faster and really catch up and narrow this gap, but it's looking like it's growing and growing. Leonardo Zanni growing in confidence as well.
He wants to hammer home the advantage, doesn't he? He wants to win this in style. Now there's a change for P2. Casey O'Gorman has lost it to Rico Salmela. Rico Salmela went wide here last time round. He's lost P2. He challenged for P2 there. Didn't get the drive out of the corner, and Casey O'Gorman got him on the cutback. But it looks like this chopping and changing is not doing them any favours in the victory fight. Round the back straight we go. So Leonardo Zanni's got about a half a second, even larger advantage now, you would have to say, after that. It looks like Zanni is going to win this one, barring any errors around the back straight and the final couple left-handers. This is Zanni's race. Can Hakim Danish spring a late surprise here and bag a podium ahead of one of the Estrella Galicia 00s, or will it be Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela taking P2 and P3? Let's see how it changes. Round the run line, Leonardo Zanni is a Junior GP race winner with Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela on the podium. Brilliant stuff from the young Italian. We said he had a bit of a luckless run. P4, 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 crash out of P4, riding in P4 in this race. Well, now he's a race winner, Connor. Brilliant from the Italian.
Absolutely sensational. He demonstrated his pace from start to finish here in this opening race in round 4 in Junior GP. He was absolutely incredible. He had to go toe-to-toe or wheel-to-wheel with some of the most impressive young riders that we've got in motorcycle racing, and he's shown that he's capable of battling with the best.
Yeah, absolutely superb and well-deserved victory for Leonardo Zanni. He's been very unlucky so far in 2025, but he's finally got that podium and indeed victory. And the Estrella Galicia 00 riders of Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela on the podium once again in Junior GP. As you can see, all three paying tribute to the late Pau Alsina with the flags and celebrations.
Yeah, it's a lovely detail that these young riders are doing this for someone that would have been very close to them, a competitor but also a friend in the Junior GP paddock.
So the riders go around on their lap of honor. You can see both Estrella Galicia 00 riders, Casey O'Gorman, the number 67, taking yet another P2. That's 2 second place finishes in a row for the Irish rider as he really hits a rich vein of form. Rico Salmela back on the podium, but wow, Brian Uriarte, your championship leader, finishes 8th. Amid all the late drama, Uriarte faded dramatically and drastically. Was caught by David Gonzalez, who we mentioned started towards the back of the grid, but fought his way up to a sensational P7 finish. So super stuff from David Gonzalez. Started P28. A run through the rest of the finishers then. So Zanni, O'Gorman, Salmela are your podium trio. Hakim Danish, the Malaysian rider, P4. Couldn't make a late move stick on either of the Estrella Galicia 00 riders. Danish did some good front running as well at the early stages of the race. Remained in the fight throughout. Did the SIC Racing MSI rider. Joel Esteban, your Magny-Cours winner, picks up a solid top 5 finish, while Veda Pratama, P6. Excellent stuff from the Indonesian rider. So riders just making their way around the circus and will peel into pit lane and park Ferme very, very shortly. So Pratama was P6. That's a season best finish for the Indonesian rider. David Gonzalez, Brian Uriarte, Michael Morelli, Pugliese and Beñat Fernandez all inside the top 10. Indeed, Fernandez finishing 11th. So let's listen into some of the celebrations down in Parc Ferme. Zani takes his first ever podium and victory in JuniorGP. Zani then heading in for his technical checks. And this will be very well received, of course, down in the paddock. The Estrella Galicia 00 riders, a double podium for the team after everything they have been through in the past week. So there will be mixed emotions, as you can see, in the FIM Network XCI Mirror Racing team. Zani, of course, the ecstasy side of the emotions, taking his first ever win. Brilliant performance from the Italian, but disappointment on the other side of the garage. Jesus Rios crashing out at turn 5 in a high side. He looked okay, relatively okay, given the circumstances. Walked away from the incident a little bit winded. But and again, just more disappointment for Rios. It's part of his inconsistencies we've seen in 2025. Didn't see the checkered flag in Estoril before double podium in Jerez. Finished outside the points in Magny-Cours, albeit it was a very difficult day in Magny-Cours, conditions-wise. And it's another non-point scoring position. Non-point scoring finish, I should say, for Jesus Rios. However, he will have another opportunity later in the day. Rico Salmela finally peeling into pit lane. We've already seen Casey arrive in. Now it's time for Rico. Having done some quick maths in terms of the championship standings, if I'm not mistaken, 8th place finish for Brian Uriarte ahead of Rico Salmela's 3rd place finish keeps Uriarte in the championship lead by a single point. We will have confirmation of that shortly, but I believe that is how it stands. Race 2 coming later in the day, but these are the key moments from race 1. Leonardo Zani's race-winning overtake on Casey O'Gorman, coming just in front of the iconic Aragon wall, and from there Zani never looked back. Opened up a huge advantage, a 1-second advantage over Casey O'Gorman to win the race. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from the young Italian, and you can just see the emotional relief victory has given the Italian, and we can hear his thoughts. He's down in Parc Ferme with Conor Doherty.
That's right, Chris. I'm here with Leonardo Zani after an incredible first win in JuniorGP. It's been an emotional weekend. How do you feel after this first win?
Yeah, it was a super funny race. It was a super funny race. I'm super happy to get this win. For me, it was super hard because the winter I broke my disc, and so I'm happy for my team, for me, for my family, and this victory is for Pau and this in this team. So I love you, Pau, and so I want to to say thanks to my friend too for supporting me. I don't know, but I'm super happy. And then I try to repeat it.
Very lovely words. If you can tell us in Italian as well, please.
Sì, dai, è stata una gara molto divertente. È stato un po' difficile all'inizio perché non volevo rompere la gomma, però alla fine sono riuscito a gestirla e a fare un ultimo giro di fuoco. Voglio ringraziare la mia squadra, voglio dedicarla a loro la vittoria, anche a Pau e alla sua squadra, che purtroppo ci ha lasciati lo scorso weekend. E niente, voglio ringraziare anche la mia famiglia e i miei amici per supportarmi sempre.
Congratulations.
Beautiful tribute then from Leonardo Zanni to Pau Alsina. So this is how race 1 in Aragon was won. Brian Uriarte started on pole position and he got the whole shot ahead of Jesus Rios, though Rios did attack Uriarte on the opening lap. However, he ran it wide, forcing him down the pecking order, with Uriarte doing the early running ahead of Rico Salmela, Casey O'Gorman, Hakim Danish, and a couple of other riders, including Leonardo Zanni in yellow helmet there, beginning to work his way through the pack. Jesus Rios in the number 54 moved up into third position as Rico Salmela seized the lead. Rios fought his way past Brian Uriarte. Uriarte did manage to fight back, but as the race went on, the championship leader fell out of contention. Joel Esteban, Hakim Danish, Leonardo Zanni then all getting the better of the rider ahead of him. Jesus Rios, as we can see at turn 5, crashed out of the action and thankfully walked away unscathed, although somewhat winded. At the front, Rico Salmela led over Casey O'Gorman, the Team Estrella Galicia 00 duo. Dodo Baggio crashing out then at the back of the pack, the number 47. While back out front here, we see in the pink helmet, Leonardo Zanni moving into third position. Brian Uriarte shuffled down the pecking order. Hakim Danish working his way through, but then it was a lead trio of the Estrella Galicia 00s and Leonardo Zanni. Rico Salmela ran it wide, handing the initiative towards Casey O'Gorman before Zanni made the race-winning overtake shortly after. And Zanni romped home from that position over a second's advantage to take his first podium and indeed first victory in the Junior GP category. Time for the podium ceremony here at MotorLand Aragón. Team representative from the FIM Network, XCI Mir Racing Team coming out. Rico Salmela coming out. Salmela remains second in the championship by my calculations, just a point behind Uriarte now. And then the Irish rider, Casey O'Gorman. Both riders bearing a touching tribute for their late colleague Pau Alsina, who adorned the number 26 across his motorcycle, while Leonardo Zanni, for the first time on a Junior GP podium, and what a way to do it, taking the top step. Mr. Jorge Panedes, MotorLand's general manager, handing out the trophy to the team representative. Mr. Panedes then will hand out some of the podium trophies to the riders. Rico Salmela, P3 for the Flying Finn. For the second round in a row, Casey O'Gorman picks up a P2 trophy. Mr. Ignacio Verneda, the FIM Deputy President, handing out the trophy to Casey. And indeed to the race winner, Leonardo Zanni. So an emotional moment for all three riders, and Leonardo Zanni now as the race winner. We hear the Italian national anthem.
Zani, que se ha llevado la victoria. Hacemos las fotos, las autoridades.
So a brilliant moment for Leonardo Zani, takes his first podium, as we said, in the Junior GP category, and what a way to do it. Ramping home to victory. So they will now pose for the podium photo. Brilliant performance, Connor, it has to be said, from Zani, and of course from the Estrella Galicia 00 riders.
Yeah, and a really lovely, touching tribute as well there for Pau Alsina. As we go to the results after this first race in Junior GP. It was Zani with that first win in this class, followed by Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela on the podium. Hakim Danish and Joel Esteban just behind. Vida Pretama in 6th, David Gonzalez with a spectacular ride to 7th, Brian Uriarte dropping down to 8th, Malcolm Morelli in 9th. Then in 10th, Giulio Pugliese, in 11th, Benyat Fernandez, in 12th, Zen Metani, 13th, Eric Michielon, 14th, Marianos Nicolis, 15th, Kiatisak Singapong, 16th, Evan Belford, and 17th, Enzo Bellon. 18th, Kevin Farkas, 19th, Leo Ramastoffer, 20th, Kotaro Uchiumi, 21st, Eduardo Bertola, 22nd, Lennox Femora, 23rd, Lucas Brown, 24th, Laura Shonrock, 25th, Yvonne Serpa. Behind them, in 26th, Leonardo Abruzzo, and then out, Monognani, Agostinelli, Monsi, Boccio, and Rios. So here we have the Riders' Championship. Brian Uriarte still leading with a gap of just 5 points now. Rico Salmela catching up. Leonardo Zani moves up 2 places to 3rd. Joel Esteban in 4th. Casey O'Gorman in 5th. Hakim Danish in 6th. Malcolm Morelli up to 7th, as is David Gonzalez in 8th. Jesus Rios drops down 2 to 9th. Then we have in 10th, Giulio Pugliese, 11th, Zen Metani, 12th, Leo Ramastoffer, 13th, Pau Alsina still appearing here, may he rest in peace, 14th, Vida Pratama, 15th, Evan Belford, 16th, Leonardo Abruzzo, 17th, Benyat Fernandez. 18th, Sullivan Mouncy, 19th, Kiatisak Singapong, 20th, Dodo Boggio, 21st, Enzo Bayon, 22nd, Eric Michielon, 23rd, Nicolis, 24th, Fomera, 25th, Lucas Brown. th Farkas, 27th, Monognani.
So race 1 here at MotorLand Aragón belongs to the number 57 in the pink helmet, Leonardo Zani. His first ever podium done in style, taking victory ahead of Casey O'Gorman and Rico Salmela, launching him to 3rd in the championship. Brian Uriarte remains the championship leader by 5 points ahead of Rico Salmela. Race 2 comes up later and offers a chance of redemption for those who feel they need it.